out imaginations, break the chains of fear. This is your appointed time. Get yourself in gear. We are free thinkers. We're free. We are free thinkers. We're free. Come on out of darkness. Come into the light. Come into this freedom. It's now a different fight. Skin tone does not determine defining who we are. We are free thinkers. We're free. Here's what we do. We can take some classes, affect the masses. There's no excuse. You've been loosed.
This is From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Each week, Janice shares her wisdom to enlighten, educate, and advance the culture in America today. Janice Pons is a mother, author, and free thinker, and your host for our podcast this evening. Now let's join your host, Janice Pons.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Come on in. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm excited. I'm so glad we are here together again. My name is Janice Pons. I am the host, your host on this show, this podcast, From Destruction to Dignity, Clinical Perspectives, Spiritual Truths. Now, you know my heart, provoke thought, bring awareness, and together, collectively, we point ourselves together as a nation towards intervention. Can you imagine that happening in the great constitutional republic of the United States of America? That we work together as one, that we rally around our commonalities and not our differences. Yeah, that's what our flag represents. That's what our seal represents. Is the house of we, the people. And I want to remind you again, my social media platform is open to your comments. I want your feedback, because what are we focused on doing? We are forming a more perfect union. What does that mean? To help keep the nation together as one. That flag, that seal, us together as one. I remember, I may have mentioned this before, at the end of World War II, they had victory gardens all over the nation. No one had an excuse for going hungry. We had gardens. It was our gardens together. Listen, we have answers. We have answers. In this month of August, we have been focusing on our precious children and youth. And you know, when we talked about child sex trafficking, we concluded that the middle schoolers is the age group where there is a specific target that has been put on their backs. That's the data shows that's the group. That's the group they're going after. And so what if we intentionally went after them? August is the month we're going back to school. And if we can get on the same page with certain things, could it be that all of a sudden the buzzword, you remember how that movie, Sound of Freedom, it was a buzzword. It was a buzz. We were going to see it, and it really impacted the nation. What if it became a buzz word and a phrase and a reality? You know what? The United States of America has shifted. There are some things going on over there. There's a group of people, there's a remnant that has risen that are impacting that nation for good. They got a special focus on middle schoolers. They're starting with the toddlers. They're doing certain things with toddlers. They're doing certain things with those from 5 to 8-year-olds, and from 9 to 14 and 15, where they are middle schoolers. They got something going on, and they got them ready to go to college. Ready to go to college, to get trained, to get an education, to get internships, to get good jobs, and to earn good money. Yeah, that's possible in this great nation. This is a nation where wealth is built, but there are certain things that happen to put us on that path. We'll get there too. Yeah. I refuse to believe that our lot in life is poverty. No, it's just so many opportunities. We're going to get there. But tonight, this is even contributing towards that goal that we can show our children, this is you, baby. This is your future. We're going to look at life skills that you will regret not teaching your children. Wouldn't it be horrible? And gosh, I'm just thinking right away. I've had interactions with people in therapeutic settings where they were weeping and lamenting of how much they missed it with their children. If I could go back, I'd just do this different. I would do that different. Let's explore it together. Our commonalities is that we want to be successful with our parenting, with our grandparenting. What would happen if we, in forming this more perfect union, where we keep the nation together as one? That's the definition of forming a more perfect union. If we look at and think about and process and explore life skills you'll regret not teaching your children. Look, parenting can be a bit stressful in this day and time. Not only do we want our children to enjoy their life, but we also want to make sure that we set them up for success. Children that have been traumatized sexually, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, abused, trafficked, ignored, neglected, taken advantage of, they have not been set up for success. There are certain life skills, especially those not taught in school, that are the responsibility of parents and grandparents. Yeah, so many parents. Well, that's the school's responsibility. There are certain things a school is not going to be focused on giving to students. I worked as a teacher. School psychologist is not even the same world now that was going on back then. We have so many distractions, so much coming against us, but I am here to appeal to you about what life skills have you implemented with your grandchildren and your children. Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. The comments are open. I respectfully ask that you remain respectful. We, from this platform right here, we're going to focus on our commonalities, and we're going somewhere, and it's expecting us when we get there, and it's a great place. Yes, it is. Life skills that we would regret not teaching our children. One is how to focus. Just think about it. They're so distracted at school. They should be very focused. There's a lot of dynamics in schools. Learning how to focus is one task that is incredibly important. In addition, it takes some skills to be able to simply think and prepare ourselves mentally for life. Do you know what? When I was in school, we had music programs. We had the Glee Club. We had art programs. We had home economics. There were very specific efforts to empower us in those areas. Music, art. I remember when they took it out the schools. I remember when they took shop out of the schools. Those guys graduated, they could do plumbing and electrical work. They could build furniture. Why did they take it out? Why? I am not even going to get political up in here tonight. No, I'm not. It related to policies, though. Let's just say that. There are certain activities that stimulate brain activity, music, art, yeah. And we utilize a part of our brain in those types of activities that if we don't do them, the brain's not activated. Music is one of the activities that uses all of the brain. It's amazing. And can you see how the enemy has so targeted music? What would happen if we expose ourselves to classical music, different types of music, not just headbanging music, but all kinds of music. And we sang and we had glee clubs. And, you know, I'm getting involved in some chorale singing here in Tulsa. That's a quality and a level of singing. They sing in Latin. Oh, okay. Let's see if Janice can learn to sing in Latin. It's going to stimulate a part of my brain that if I don't take on that challenge, it won't get stimulated. Yeah. Singing, music, art. When I go painting, a whole part of my brain is activated. Here's a life skill that if we don't teach our children, we might regret it. How to say no. What would happen if we willfully, intentionally, actually teach our children and our youth, how do you say no? They got so much coming at you. Want to have sex? You want to go get high? You want, come on, let's go. We're going to do a beer run. We're going to run into Quick Trip and we're going to do a beer run. How do you say no? Huh? It's very easy to say yes, but it can lead to a world of poor choices. It happens with adults. It happens with children. It happens with adolescents. It happens to those middle schoolers. We've been honing in on this month of August. That's where these sex traffickers are. It's like laser focus, stealth effort. They're going after those middle schoolers. What if we teach them how to say no as an acquired skill? It's not necessarily about bad things. It also applies to work. When to say, well, no, I'm not going to work overtime. Oh, well, yeah, I do need to work. Not today. Family life, fun. Should there be a consideration for protection when it comes to fun? When it comes to family life, huh? Risk taken at work. Oh, I could tell you some things. It's like, who's training these people to come to work? Oh, poor judgment, poor reasoning. I could go on and on right there. They don't know how to say no, even as adults. I'm thinking they didn't acquire that as children and adolescents. What would happen if we teach our children that? Learn how to invest. Investing is an essential skill. It can be done in a lot of different ways. What would happen if we teach our children how to be intentional in saving? Listen. Now listen at this. Listen at this. Education, internships, job, savings. I'm going to say it again. Education, that we're pointing them towards that. That's where we're driving them together. We're empowering them. We're making a big deal out of them reaching these goals. Education, internships, jobs, and saving. Yeah. And I'm working with people. This is what we're pushing it. We're going to push it. We're setting it up for them to have education, internships, jobs, and to save. Now, after they get a job and they save, invest. Invest is a new way to think. What do you mean invest? What do you mean invest? You mean like a savings account invest? No. What's the percentage you get on a savings account? Do you know how wealth is built in the great constitutional republic of the United States of America, would you be interested in knowing how we can teach our children to participate in a process that will contribute to them being wealthy? In this, what our flag, our seal, they don't have to grow up and be on welfare. They don't have to grow up and be thugs. They don't have to grow up and be twerking in the streets and snatching bras and snatching wigs off of each other. Are you kidding me? The devil's a liar. He's a father of lies, and the truth has never been in him. We're going to show him a more creative way. Yeah. Invest. We're going to show them they can be entrepreneurs. They're going to have education, internships, jobs. They got jobs, they making money, they can save at least half of their check. That's a whole new way of thinking, but you can be trained to do that and invest. In this great nation, 60% of wealth comes from real estate. Approximately 30%, the stock market. America's wealth. 10% from the bond market. Who's talking to their children that way? Who's talking to their children that way? Home economics. Remember when we took it? I remember when they took it out of school. We learned how to sew. You had to make a garment. You had to learn how to cook. You had to learn how to budget. It's getting harder and harder for kids to make that transition from having everything paid for to having nothing paid for. You're going to establish a budget. We're talking about life skills. We don't want to regret. We don't want to get at the end and they're 18 and they don't have a clue about this kind of stuff. And they're adults and they don't have a clue and they think they can come on somebody's job and steal. I've seen that. What was going on in your judgment, baby? What were you thinking that you could come up here on this man's job and steal and got cameras everywhere? Come on. Teach them how to budget so it can be an easier concept to understand. This is intentional training. You review it with them. And one of the best ways you can do it, listen here, this is powerful. Involve them in paying bills. Lay it out. Hey, baby, look here, son, daughter, sit down. This is how much we have coming in this house. So, Mama, I want. Hey, daddy. You want some of daddy's money. Daddy's got to pay bills first. Show them what's coming in. It's a family activity. Here's what's coming in, and here's what's got to go out. Involve them in paying the bill. Show them how you do it. What would happen in terms of instilling life skills? Listen, put your comments in there. There may be things you're doing in your household, and I'll be like, whoa, that's powerful. We're going to talk about these things together. I need your input, your thoughts, your feelings. You have a First Amendment constitutional right to share your feelings and your thoughts. I might not agree with them, but that's not what it's about. You have that right. Be respectful. I will always be respectful to you. Involve them in bill paying. How to be frugal. Being frugal will help ensure you always have money. Whew. Something just rose up and hit me in my belly right there. I remember a time when I was walking. I had gone to hell and back. And I was looking for money on the ground. That was in my adult life. Some things went down. It didn't pan out the way I thought it was going to pan out, in spite of my best plans and effort. And then it was like, oh, what am I going to do with that? I said, God, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to do it again. You may not know how, you may not know when, but he'll do it again. Yeah, Go listen to the song by Karen Wheaton. Go on YouTube and listen to He'll Do It Again. I'm a witness. I was looking for money on the ground. But God, I'm going to do it your way. I stand here today. It took me 6 years to do it, but I got out of that financial mess. And I now qualify for a home. I'm building a home, a house, a brand new house. Occupying a brand new house. I had no idea I could ever qualify for one. That is a testimony to go from looking for money on the ground to building a brand new house. To God be the glory. But some of the things I'm talking about tonight, these life skills, I implemented. I wasn't taught this. I wasn't taught about investing. I wasn't taught necessarily about how to save, but I learned what would happen if we do this when they're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I pour this into my son. He's making some wise decisions now. He'll never look for money on the ground because there's certain things that he's doing intentionally now. I'm provoking thought, bringing awareness. I want together for us to go towards the intervention. We got a nation to save. We have a more perfect union that we want to establish. What does that mean? To keep the nation together as one. This flag represents these 50 states flowing together as one. That seal, that's our seal. Yes, yes, yes. Being frugal will help ensure that we always have money. I'll never go another day without money. God will speak to my heart and say, send Kim $100 right now. Send John and Shirley $50. Give Patrick Hampton and his family $800. What? Yeah. I thank God that I can do it. There was a time I was looking for money on the ground. God brought me through. Listen. It's learning to be led by the Spirit of the living God. And you know what he told me? He said, if you show me I can trust you with it, I'm going to get it to you. Now, that's my story. Saving money, having money, investing money. That's taught. When people are young, being frugal can help to increase their retirement savings early on, a decision that will really pay off in the future, and that brings up Social Security savings. I hear people saying, well, you know, America, we just gonna go bankrupt. That's a lie. No, we're not. You can become wealthy in this nation. People, they want to get in America. Yeah, that's why they're trying to get in it. They want to get here. And it was interesting to me in the community where my new home, where these new homes are being built, where my home will be. Yeah, that's my home. I will be there. The men who were building the houses, they couldn't speak English. Boy, but they could build some houses. They worked hard and they built those houses. This is the land of opportunity. Y'all can stay in that slave mentality if you want to. I'm not doing it. My great-grandmother is a descendant of slaves. I am ADOS, A-D-O-S, American descendant of slaves. Do you think that that motivates me to no end? My daddy was born on a plantation. He quit school when he was in the 6th grade to be a sharecropper, another form of slavery. I went through Jim Crow, another form of slavery. I couldn't go to movies. I couldn't eat in restaurants. That's slavery. In this great nation, that's not the case today. I can be a part of a system of wealth, and so can you. We got to shift our thinking, guys. We got to teach our babies to do the same. Well, we can be a part of real estate. We can be a part of the stock market. We can be part of the bond market. We can write our own ticket, and we will have Social Security. We're going to have a strong military. Yeah, we're going to have a strong healthcare system. Do Americans deserve to have their healthcare needs met? We're going to get into these things as we move forward. What would happen if we teach our children life skills of how to negotiate? Negotiate a deal on anything from a new house to a new car. I had to learn to do that. Negotiate, let me tell you, this is my powerful story about that. When I got promoted at a particular workplace, I was doing one level of work. I got called to the front. Said, okay, we want to offer you this opportunity. They offered me a salary. It was a big increase. I said, okay, well, I'll think about it, and I'll get back with you in 2 or 3 days. And they even said, well, just think about it. Get quiet. I did. And so I was talking to somebody about it, and they said to me, you need to learn how to negotiate. I was like, what are you talking about? Negotiate. Go back and do a counter offer. What do you mean? Go back and present a range of what you want, but first put on a piece of paper why you are qualified. Whoa, never done it. Janice was challenged. I went and filled up a whole sheet of paper and went back to the CEO and said, sir, I would like to respectfully request just a few minutes of your time. Thank you so much for offering me that promotion. And you said I could get back with you in about 3 days, but I'd like to talk to you today. It was the next day. He said, sure. I said, I have written on this piece of paper, I said, right here, and it went from top to bottom, why I am the one who is the best choice for this position. And I would like about 2 or 3 minutes of your time if you would respectfully allow me to share with you what's on this page. He said this. He said, go ahead. It's your moment. Thank you. I'm glad I asked. I went down that list. And I shared with him why I was the choice for that job because they were considering someone else. I went down that list. I said, I respectfully submit to you that this is why I am the person for this job. He said, I totally agree. That's why I approached you in the first place. And then I said, and I further want to submit to you respectfully is that I appreciate what you offered me. However, I would like to submit a counter offer, and I gave a range of a counter offer. That range that I gave, in 3 seconds, he gave me the top of the range, which was $5,000 more than what he had offered me the day before. Negotiating, I was blown away, but I was empowered, and it put me on a pathway of my salary being in a totally different range. Negotiating a deal on anything from a new car or a house or a job can empower our youth. It certainly empowered me as an adult. Learning to stand up for yourself. I had to give him the reasons why I was the best person, and I have soared from there. To God be the glory. And I'm on kingdom assignment. Yeah, you get that revelation to take you to another level. And not just accept what's being presented, and just that's how it is. Because I stood up, I got $5,000 more than what they said the day before. Thank you, Lord. Learning how to drive a car is a life skill. My daddy took me, he said, baby, if you're going to learn how to drive a car, you got to know how to drive a stick shift. If you don't know how to drive a stick shift, you don't know how to drive. That was a skill. It built our relationship. It was powerful when daddy and I learned how to, when he taught me how to drive a car. Here's a big one. Management of time management. Class schedules in school, they afford our children towards understanding about scheduling. We go to first period, second period, third period. After fourth period, we have lunch. Time management is an essential skill in life. At your home, baby, from this time to this time, put the phone down. We're studying. We're reading. When you get home, you have from this hour to this hour to get homework done. After this, we're going to sit down and we're going to have dinner together. Learning how to manage a budget, manage time, manage a budget. Listen, going from small to big. Remember when I said I was looking for money on the ground? I learned how to, I said, okay, I got to do something different. It's got to be observable and measurable. So what? I had to get a $1,000 emergency fund. After I accomplished that goal, I didn't even know I could do it. The next thing was paying off the small bill. After that was paid off, I kept adding that to the next bill, to the next bill, to the next bill. I was debt free. I qualified to be able to build a house. Who would have ever thought? I had to change my way of thinking. Put that in your children. What would happen if we do that? Will we form a more perfect union where we are flowing together as one? Listen to others. Talking too much and never listening. Could that be a problem? Are we setting up our children for failure? But would we regret not teaching them how to listen to others, teaching them how to build a retirement? Retirement is a process that starts when you're young. If you want to build retirement, the sooner the better. Teaching them that, not flying by the seat of your pants. Social Security and work comes in there. Listen, what have we talked about tonight? We're talking about life skills that you will regret not teaching your children. This great flag, our seal, us being intentional as a nation to target those children, target our middle schoolers. This nation, this great union of the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America, I say that we are forming a more perfect union. Why? Because we're keeping the nation together as one as we go from destruction to dignity. Good night.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of From Destruction to Dignity with Janice Pons. Janice's mission is to provoke thought, bring awareness, and point people towards intervention when needed. As a reminder, this show is not therapy, but for educational purposes only. For more information, check out JanicePons.com or follow her on social media.
Education, affirmation, dedication, information, revelation. A new nation. We are God empowered. Strength is ours. Liberty, been set free. Education, affirmation, dedication, information.